is the seal of the National Wrestling Alliance. Whenever you see this emblem displayed, you're assured of the very finest in professional wrestling competition. Hi, I'm Gordon Solie, your host on Championship Wrestling from Florida. Once again, it's a real pleasure to have with me, of course, Don Curtis, the promoter in Jacksonville, State AAU director, a great, I should say, in one sense of the word, former professional wrestler, but he'll still put on a pair of tights and get in the ring with anybody anytime.
Well, that's a little bit of a strong statement, but I'm still keeping in fair shape. Gordon, we're looking forward to a real outstanding challenge match here. The Goulet has got his partner Malenko back again, and they're going to be challenging the Fuller Boys and Bob Roop, and that was a match we thought we were going to see last week, but we're going to see it this time. That's going to be a good one.
It is indeed. Dick Murdoch, Rene Goulet, and the great Malenko going up against the Fuller brothers and Bob Roop. That'll be a little bit later on in the program. Right now we're ready for our first match, so let's turn it over to our ring announcer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this match is scheduled for one fall with a 15-minute time limit. In the corner to my right, from Mexico City, weighing 240 pounds, José Lothario. His opponent in the opposite corner is from Yokohama, Japan. He weighs 231 pounds, Hiro Matsuda.
We'll be back with this match in just a moment. Before we get too far into the program, I do have a special announcement. I have a wire from Mr. Sam Muchnick, president of the NWA in St. Louis, Missouri. And Mr. Muchnick has informed us that the World Heavyweight Wrestling Championship match to be held between Dory Funk Jr., the World Heavyweight Champion, and Jack Brisco, the challenger, in Amarillo, Texas, on July 1st, has been changed. The match will still take place on or about July 1st, but it will not be held in Amarillo, Texas, nor will it be held in Tampa, Florida. The match will be held at a place to be decided upon by the NWA at a later date. Mr. Muchnick did not elaborate onto his reasons why it has been changed, but I think certainly psychologically this is much to the advantage of Jack Brisco, inasmuch as it will not be held in the hometown of the World Heavyweight Wrestling Champion, Dory Funk Jr. But we repeat, the match will not be held in Amarillo. A place where the match will be held will be announced at a later date. Mario in the green trunks. Lothario down for a leg drive, blocked very effectively by Hiro Matsuda, blocked by Matsuda. And here's two men down who I think the name of the game to them is win.
Right, absolutely. But of course, there's so much pressure on this kind of a match. A win in front of the thousands of people who are watching this thing is very important as far as prestige. And it also puts them in an excellent position for those very important challenges for the World Championship. And two great wrestlers like this certainly have the skill and the knowledge to be the world champion.
No question about it. Both men superbly trained athletes.
Somewhat different approaches to wrestling. A man like Matsuda with the training in the European style. A lot of that upper body Greco-Roman type takedowns, but of course the tremendous power of Jose compensating a lot, but he does use a lot of upper body stuff, as you see here, controlling the arms, controlling the takedowns. There's
variations.
Right, exactly. Putting weight of the body and drawing him down, lying on his head, then a little half turn just before they hit the mat, and he's on top. Sort of a combination of a spin under and a suplex. Nicely done. But you'll never find either one of these men taking any unusual chances with each other, because any mistake, in spite of their great fighting hearts and tremendous skill, would be fatal if these fellows get clamped down good and tight and you're underneath.
Well, one slip in either direction would could very easily end the match, and you have, as you said too, and we pointed out, these are superbly trained athletes, both of them, and the varying backgrounds. Wow!
Now, there's a painful move right there. You can see that he's trying to weaken him. He's trying to bring him into line, because with the snap and tremendous conditioning of both of these men, the only way you can equalize it is to slow your man down a little bit, and this will do it. But this is so much rides on a match like this. The importance of winning carries over into the, as I say, the prestige, but also because of the important matches coming up.
Matsuda maintaining that, and it's I would say, an Oriental version of a cross-face lock.
Well, this is sort of a combination. It's a tremendously painful thing. It's putting pressure with the spine and the neck turned sideways, and then the pressure being put on in this unusual way. It's a tremendously painful application of a headlock. Headlock, normally we just got your arms around his head. He's in there pretty tight, and he's being pinched, but he doesn't have that unusual attitude of his head to cause the terrific pain that this particular application does cause.
The official watching carefully, but even though Lothario's been under tremendous pressure, he has not conceded.
And there's also a variation of this that you do with the legs, turning the head the same way and twisting the head, very effective, more so than the usual scissors or figure four. That's a good move out of that.
Beautiful escape, and moved right into a leg dive, which has Matsuda on the canvas.
That, of course, is the secret. Every move has got to be coupled with not only the counter, but also you've got to be going for something. You can't be just escaping and running away. Everything has got to be. I'm sure that's what Jose had in mind when he put up with that punishment as long as he did. He was trying to figure a way that he could utilize his escape and turn it into a takedown. And he did it.
Where Matsuda has been concentrating on the head of José Lothario now concentrating on the leg of Hiro Matsuda. Once again, we have a situation where each man apparently is going after a singular, more or less of a singular target in his opponent.
Right, you've got to slow their opponent up in this case. Now, there's another thing, incidentally. Matsuda is an expert with a wrist lock, and he'll grab wrist locks from all sorts of angles, and he's trying to get to it right there. You'll see him trying to set this thing up, trying to get that, because that was another way out. Tapped him with an elbow, which gives you an idea of how desperate he was. He wanted out of there, and he didn't want to fool around any longer.
Lothario clearing his head a little bit now, rubbing at one eye, and that might have caught him right over the eye.
Takedown, that.
Good leg trip by...
Of course, he has a vast knowledge of judo, and of course this sort of a leg sweeping takedown is very popular and very effective.
Matsuda giving away a few pounds to Lothario. Both men have tremendous speed, particularly the men. Wow! Full body slam, and Matsuda taking the brunt of that on his left shoulder, it appeared to me, when he came down.
Sure did. He zipped him up there real quick and threw him off. You've got to move quickly. Any kind of a delay is liable to get you cut down pretty fast.
Good clean break. All right, good clean break, and a round of applause from the people here at the Sportatorium.
Putting that pressure on him. Like I say, you can see the wrist lock combination there. This is something that he will aim for every time. Look at the definition in their man's.
Just going to say that both men are glistening from the exertion of this match, and neither man has given any quarter whatsoever, and tremendous confirmation.
Tremendous athletes. Fabulous to watch them in action. Big men, tremendously powerful, skilled, fine shape. Matsuda's training schedule is a backbreaker. Spends 45 minutes on neck exercises alone. You can well imagine with the concentration that he has, what condition he's in.
Yeah, to say nothing of his running 5 miles a day.
Right. Ooh. He'll bring in the line quickly with his legs.
He does have tremendously powerful legs, and he utilized it well that time, and now drives Lothario to the canvas.
He also does 1,000 squats a day. I don't know if you're aware of that, Gordon, but he does 1,000 Hindu squats a day in training his legs.
Bridging, and Lothario once again refusing to concede.
There's something too. You notice that Lothario was able to bridge in this very awkward position. His arm caught up underneath him like that. Because of the tremendous training, he's still able to fight out of that thing by bridging under those conditions.
Wow,
So that's a power move.
That is indeed. and indicative of the tremendous power that this man, José Lothario, has. A fantastic competitor, and I might say, too, he's got a workout schedule that would be very awesome for anyone to try.
Right, his ability to lift tremendous weight is obviously from the shape of his great body that he is a tremendous lifter. Has tremendous lifting power.
Matsuda keeping him tied up now, the official checking those shoulders, but of course Lothario's shoulders well off the canvas.
Matsuda had been concentrating on the arms, the upper body, and found that wasn't too effective with the tremendous power of Lothario. And now he switched to the legs. Of course, there's the weakest spot. The ankles, the knees are the weakest parts of the anatomy, and that's what he's concentrating on now. Also, I'm sure he's not too eager to have those big arms wrapped around him, and Matsuda would rather keep going. Good move.
Beautiful move by José Lothario, breaking free and on his feet, quick as a cat that time. And Matsuda eyeing him perhaps with a little more respect.
Hip lock takedown.
Beautiful shoulder smash by José Lothario. That time caught by Matsuda. Matsuda now whips him in.
Good move. Reversed that and onto his back.
And it's Matsuda escaping, and I thought it was all over, Don.
Look at this. Look at this. Ridden him up into a cross-body ride and up onto his back. And he finished.
Wow. Very fine display of sportsmanship. Both men shaking hands. Lothario raising his hand, raising Matsuda's hand, and certainly a tremendous match. That desire and that will to win was the all-important thing. And now for the word, here's our ring announcer, Colonel Ed Chesky.
Winner of that match, Hiro Matsuda.
Tuesday night, 8:30 at the Armory in Tampa. One of three main events will be a six-man tag team match. The great Malenko, Dale Lewis, and the original Grappler wrestling against the Grappler, Hiro Matsuda, and Buddy Fuller. I wanted to talk to Mr. Lewis about this match because you and Matsuda, you didn't fare too well against Matsuda last week.
Matsuda was nothing. It was Don Curtis, and I challenged Curtis. He was responsible for my loss. I challenged him, and he ducked it. He got Fuller to represent him in this match, and this is an elimination match, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, Fuller will be my first target. Next, our target, Malenko, original Grappler, and myself, will be Matsuda. Once we have eliminated these two, then we're going to be 3-1 against the Grappler. And what happens when 3 men are against 1 man?
Well, it's pretty obvious.
We'll beat them and then unmask them.
Well, wasn't it a fact that your man, this original Grappler, as you call him, wasn't he unmasked last week?
How do you become unmasked? Because someone illegally takes a mask off, that's not unmasked. Unmasked is when you're beaten and your mask is taken off, and then you become humiliated. In this case, the original Grappler was not beaten. He was defeated, and then I covered him up. So the people still don't know who he is. But they will know. They will know who this second-rate Grappler is.
You seem extremely confident. I might point out that you said that Curtis seemed to duck out from underneath this match. I've never known Don Curtis to back away from a fight at any time in my lifetime. I'm sure that he must have had a previous commitment of some kind.
He's got a commitment because he's YELLOW.
Well, obviously, I must take issue with it at this point. We'll see you Tuesday night at the Armory in Tampa. Well, you know, Don, we wanted to show a piece of film this week that I think everybody's going to find most interesting. As you know, Don, the Grappler is not an extremely talkative man. He did make a comment, however, that he was going to defeat the original Grappler, which he will do, as you will see in just a moment. He also made another commitment that I found most interesting, and I think you're going to find it most interesting as we take a look at this film of a match between the Grappler and the original Grappler last week at the Armory in Tampa. There you've seen it, a beautifully executed Greco-Roman souffle, bridging high now, keeping the original Grappler, those shoulders pinned to the canvas for a count of 3. This is a tremendously stunning hold. The opponent is rendered generally helpless. Now you see the Grappler going after the mask. Dale Lewis, who's been at ringside, you'll be watching him momentarily now as he'll jump into the ring. The bell has already rung, and the grappler has won the match, and there's Lewis attacking the grappler, trying to protect his original grappler from becoming unmasked. Now watch as Lewis starts to bring the grappler up, drops him with a looping right hand, and now looks like he was going after the mask of the grappler, but he's not. He's more intent on getting the grappler out of the way so that his original grappler will be protected. You can see the original grappler still stunned, still staggered, trying to get to his feet, can't do it. A beautiful right cross by the grappler knocks Dale Lewis out of the ring. And now the grappler going after the mask of the original grappler. He said he was going to defeat this man and then unmask him. And has he got it off? Oh, it is off, yes. And I thought for a moment I could see who it was, but I couldn't. Dale Lewis now grabbing him and taking off his shirt to protect the original grappler, and I still can't find out who that man is. But a very competent wrestler, but defeated handily by the grappler.
Yay! What that old nigger Driscoll's on?
So as we saw, Don, the grappler lived up to his word. He said he was going to defeat the original grappler. He did, in a beautiful backsuit play. And he also said he was going to unmask him. That he did, although none of us got a chance to take a look at it because Dale Lewis, covered him up real quickly with his shirt. Yeah. Now, after what happened last week on the program with Murdoch attacking Jack Brisco the way he did, and of course with that $5,000 bounty out for Brisco, I think everybody was extremely concerned about the Texas death match that Jack was involved.
Right, they were.
And we felt that inasmuch as what did happen last week on Championship Wrestling, for those of you who didn't have an opportunity to see the results of that particular match held at Fort Homer Hesterly Armory in Tampa, we're going to take a look now at the closing moments of this match. And I might just mention this was the Texas death match lasted over 30 minutes. There were 6 falls in the match itself. It was a very, very grueling match. It had some unusual aspects to it, and we felt that all of you would be very interested in seeing it. So right now, let's switch once again to Fort Homer Hesterly Armory. And now you see Murdoch over that top rope on the back of Rene Goulet and partially hitting the great Malenko. Goulet taking the brunt of the spill over the top rope. And Murdoch trying to get back into the ring now, being aided by Malenko. His face a crimson mask. Jack Brisco helps him into the ring, and now catching him by the throat. And Malenko coming up on those ring ropes at this point. I don't know whether he's trying to break that chokehold or whether he's deliberately trying to injure Jack Brisco. Comes off the ropes, and he catches Murdoch on the throat instead. That slips solidly in the throat of Dick Murdoch, and Murdoch in trouble now. The referee backing Malenko away. Jack Brisco in for a pin. And it is all over the 6th, and this, of course, proves to be the deciding fall because Murdoch is unable to continue. There's no question about this. Rene Goulet now in the ring, obviously very irate at what's happened, and Malenko himself very, very upset over the fact that instead of aiding Dick Murdoch, he has really caused his own downfall, his own destruction. Now the referee telling both Malenko and Goulet that they should move out of the ring to stay away from Murdoch and also to stay away from Brisco, and Malenko now becoming very emotional, and Goulet continues to argue with him, and Malenko now over to help the injured and fallen Dick Murdoch. Goulet getting outside of the ring. The count is on. And Murdoch unable to continue. Jack Brisco wins the Texas Death Match. A fantastic and grueling match over 30 minutes in length. 6 falls in this match. Jack Brisco taking the last fall, but with the assistance of the great Malenko, but certainly unintended assistance as Malenko trying to do harm to Jack Brisco after that $5,000 bounty, I am sure. And it backfired this time because it was Dick Murdoch who suffered defeat at the hands of the great Malenko in this last fall. Now you see Malenko again protesting the mistake, protesting his innocence on the situation, but to no avail as Dick Murdoch, fallen in the corner, defeated by Jack Brisco in this Texas death match. And once again, Dory Funk Sr. is thwarted in his efforts to stop Jack Brisco from wrestling the World Heavyweight Wrestling Champion, Dory Funk Jr. It's a most unusual situation erupted there with Malenko.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it was an accident. Malenko likes to win too much to do anything that might jeopardize a win, but it was a tragic effect. did put it on quickly.
Yeah, it did, and it was tragic only for Mr. Murdoch and Mr. Galea and Mr. Malenko, because, of course, they were out for that $5,000. Tell you what, though, Jack was victorious, and he's still going to be meeting Dory Funk Jr., the World Heavyweight Wrestling Champion, unless some sort of ill befalls him between now and then. Right now, though, let's turn to our ring announcer for this next match.
This match is scheduled for one fall with a 15-minute time limit. In the corner to my right, from Mexico, weighing 217 pounds, Cisco Grimaldo. And in the opposite corner, weighing 221 pounds, from Montreal, Canada, Ronnie Garvin.
And here's our ring announcer.
Winner of the match, Ronnie Garvin.
Tuesday night, 8:30 at the Armory in Tampa. NWA-sanctioned wrestling will feature Cisco Grimaldo against Roy Welch. Louis Tillett takes on Coach John Heath. Soa Ota, a new Japanese wrestler, will team up with Ronnie Garvin to wrestle against both Ron and Robert Fuller. In a six-man tag team elimination match, it'll be the Great Malenko, Dale Lewis, and the original Grappler against Buddy Fuller, the Grappler, and Hiro Matsuda. Rene Goulet takes on José Lothario. And then we come to the final event of the evening. No time limit. The disqualification rule has been waived. The Florida Heavyweight Championship against the Southern Heavyweight Championship. Jack Brisco defending his title against the challenge of Dick Murdoch, and Dick Murdoch in turn defending his title against the challenge of Jack Brisco. In other words, at this point, Jack, it's all together.
That's right, Gordon. The man that walks out of that ring Tuesday night will be the Florida champion and the Southern champion. Now, if you get disqualified or anything like that, the title still change hands. One man is going to end up with both titles. One man's going to lose his title.
Jack, pardon me for interrupting, but I really must feel in my own mind that in as much as that disqualification rule has been waived, this certainly means, to my thinking, that Murdoch is not going to be able to go out there and compete as he usually does, because if he were to get disqualified for some of his tactics, that would end it for him.
That's true. I feel like this gives me an edge because it forces Murdoch to wrestle, and Murdoch is certainly capable of wrestling. He's from a wrestling family, and he's wrestled all through school, and it forces him to wrestle. But I feel like that this gives me an edge because of this is my long suit. When they start getting rough and everything, I always feel like if I revert back to my wrestling, it always gives me the upper hand. And this is the way I feel about this match. And I feel like Murdoch is my last obstacle between me and Dory Funk Jr. for that world title match.
And by the way, Jack, that match now is no longer going to be held in Amarillo.
That's true, Gordon. Due to all the letters and the petitions that have been signed by all the fans that and sent to Mr. Muchnick, President of the NWA, the match will not be held in Amarillo now, but also on the same hand, it says the match can't be held in Tampa either. So a neutral site will be named for this title match, but it will not be in Amarillo or Tampa.
Well, I know, of course, that Don Curtis is trying to get it in the Coliseum in Jacksonville. I know the Miami promoter has put up a tremendous guarantee to get it. Also, the Cow Palace is after it in San Francisco, the Madison Square Garden in New York. The match is sought all over the United States. Let me ask you this, Jack. Do you have any preference yourself?
Well, certainly I would like very much for it to be in Florida. This is where I live now, and this is my home. And I would much prefer it to be here in Florida, but I'll be glad to go anywhere they want to name. My objective is to win the World Championship, and if it's Amarillo, well, of course it's not going to be Amarillo, but no matter where it is, I'll be happy to go because this is what I'm after.
You know, the interesting thing to know, Jack, should you win Tuesday night, and I think this would be the first time in the history of Florida wrestling, and should you win Tuesday night, you'll be the Florida Heavyweight Champion. You are the Television Heavyweight Champion. You're one half of the Tag Team Championship of Florida. Of course, I realize now with your brother out that quite possibly you two would probably have to default that championship. But you'd also be the Southern Heavyweight Champion. To my knowledge, that's the first time I've known of any wrestler holding 4 titles at one time.
Well, it's almost unbelievable to me, Gordon. It just comes through a lot of hard work and a lot of effort. And like you said, my brother and I are the Florida Tag Team Champions now, but it certainly looks like that we're going to have to give them up because my brother is no longer able to wrestle. And, of course, Murdoch is the cause of this, and That's why I'm so anxious to get in the ring with Murdoch. It cost my brother a great deal of money and a great deal of pain, and it has hurt his career because he's going to be out for a long time. We're going to have to give up the tag team championship now because he's just not able to wrestle. So it's going to really do me good to get in that ring against Murdoch. I want to take his Southern title away from him and make him feel a little bit the pain that he has caused my brother.
Well, certainly an understandable feeling on the part of Jack Brisco, who is currently the Florida Heavyweight Champion. He's putting it on the line this coming Tuesday night. I think it's interesting to know, too, should Murdoch win the Florida Heavyweight Championship, he'd also pick up that $5,000 bounty. We'll be back with more action after this message.